Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Man Cave Meals. Today we're going to kick off the first of 12 videos that I'm going to do in 2023 of making pizzas on the Kamado Joe. We're going to make 12 different styles of pizza, or maybe not 12 different styles, but 12 different pizzas using the Kamado Joe grill, and we're going to kick the first one off by doing a Detroit style pizza. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do for this pizza is make our sauce, and I'm going to give you all the ingredients quantities in the video description, but I'm starting out with some whole canned tomatoes. We're going to dump in another can of crushed tomatoes, some tomato sauce, some salt, and some dried oregano, and then I'm going to go to work on that with my immersion blender, and we're going to blend that till it's smooth. And I believe that's just about right. And obviously you're going to see that I'm making a lot more of this than I need. But you can freeze this for up to about 2 months. So I've made some extra here. The next thing we're going to do is mix our dough. I've got my water in the bowl. I'm going to dump my instant yeast in there. I've got some salt. I've got some semolina flour. And I've got some bread flour. We're just going to get all that in there. And then I'm going to turn this mixer on, and we're going to let that come together as a shaggy mass at a slow speed. And after that dough comes together, I'm going to turn the mixer speed up just a little bit, and we're going to let it continue to mix until we've got really good gluten formation. And then I'll show you what that looks like when we get there. Okay, I let this go for about 16 minutes or so in the mixer, and I've turned it out onto my cutting board. And this is a wet dough, but I want to show you what they call the window pane test. You want to be able to pull this dough out and pull it nice and thin like that to where you can almost see through it without it really tearing. And that's close. It probably could have gone another couple of minutes, but I'm good with that, so we're going to move on. So what I'm going to do now is toss this into a tub that I've got some oil in, just a light coat of oil. I'm going to toss that to let that coat in the oil, and then I'm just going to put the lid on this, and we're going to let it bench rest here for 15 minutes. Okay, we've been 15 minutes. I'm going to pull my dough out and do what's called just a 4-corner fold on this, which means I'm going to pull it from one corner, pull it from another, pull it from another, and then pull it from the fourth one. And we're just going to flip it back over, and we're going to put it right back in our tub and let that guy bench rest for another 15 minutes. All right, our 15 minutes is up. I'm going to pull this back out, and I've made enough dough here for 2 pizzas. So what I need to do to start with is break this down into 2 equal pieces, and I'm going to set this one aside because I'm going to work it later. And then this piece, I'm just going to do that 4-corner fold on one more time, just very quickly. And then I've got my 10 by 14 Lloyd pan, Detroit pizza pan out here. So what I'm going to do is just set this in here, and we've got to proof this for about 3 hours in the pan, but I'm going to work here for a few minutes to try to get this dough stretched out as far as we can. And this dough is still pretty elastic at this point, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover it up with a damp towel, and we're going to let this guy sit here for about 3 hours before we move on. So I let that rise for 3 hours, and then I just kind of worked it out to push it out to the edges of the pan. And sometimes if the dough's a little too elastic, you have to work it a little bit. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to go, just let it sit for about 10 minutes and do it again, and it'll eventually stretch out to the edges. So we want to start getting this ready, and the first thing that's going to go on this guy is cheese, and a good bit of it. I like to use a blend on my Detroit pizzas, since I can't buy Wisconsin brick cheese anywhere I know of here in North Carolina, I make a 1-to-1-to-1 blend of mozzarella, Munster, and Havarti. And it's kind of critical when you put the cheese on this pizza is to make sure that cheese gets all the way to the edge where it's touching the pan. So, and feel free to use plenty of cheese. I don't know how much I've used here. I've used a good bit. So that's what that's going to look like to start with. And then, just like any other pizza in the man cave, it's going to get a nice dose of pepperoni, because we love pepperoni. There's just no doubt about that. And I've got some boar's head pepperoni here that I've sliced up to populate this guy with. I've got more slices than I need, but once again, pepperoni is kind of like cheese for me. I don't think I'm ever going to have too much of it. And also, I have taken my sauce out of the refrigerator and put some in a saucepan, and I'm warming that up because you don't want to put cold sauce on here. The sauce goes on this guy after the cook. So I've got my Kamado Joe warmed up, so let's go to the grill. I've got the Kamado Joe Classic running here at about 550 degrees, and the Detroit pan won't fit through the front, so what you have to do here is just lift the lid up, set the pan in, and close it. And we're going to be in for a 10 to 12 minute cook here probably. Okay guys, about 15 minutes or so right in here. I'm thinking that that is looking just about perfect. So we're going to get it off, take it inside, and see what we have here. Okay guys, this thing is looking absolutely amazing. I want you to look at that cheese caramelization there. If you can see that in this light, this is coming out absolutely perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is drizzle on some of our sauce. I like to put just kind of like 3 stripes of it right down across the top, and then we're going to cut it apart. And I like to just run my cutter right down the middle and then give it about, going about thirds in the other direction. And then guys, have a look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. So guys, give this a try. Let me know what you think. Detroit pizza is my personal favorite style of pizza, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So let me know. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Man Cave Meals.